735-2317. SIU Medicine, forward for you.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. An agreement to supplement funds related to highway engineering projects was discussed at DeWitt County's June Board Meeting. At Thursday night's meeting, Road and Bridge Committee Chair Jamie Prestegard told his fellow board members that this motion would be an $85,000 addition to an agreement made with WHKS for engineering services. He pointed out that the agreement is already good for up to $85,000 and has no end date, bringing the total to $170,000.
I will make a motion to approve the supplemental professional services agreement. The original agreement was made last July 2025 for them to provide engineering services for up to the amount of $85,000. The original agreement did not have an ending date to it, so this is essentially an extension of this agreement, of the existing agreement, I should say. It does add on $85,000 to the agreement to make the total not to exceed $170,000.
Prestegard noted that since last July, they have used around $57,000 of the original $85,000 that was agreed upon. With the upcoming Barnett Township overlay project, he feels that more funds need to be agreed on.
As of last week, we had total costs paid to WHKS so far was $57,000 and change, leaving us $27,000 and change on the original agreement. With the Barnett Township overlay project that's coming up. WHKS is doing that engineering oversight on that project, and that'll take up a fair amount of that balance from the original agreement. So this will be doubling, extending the agreement essentially with, again, no ending date.
Board Chair Joe Whitty and Finance Chair Melanie Tilley brought up concerns over the timing of the agreement, stating that it should align more closely with the county's budget season in December.
Yeah, shouldn't we try to line that with budget timing, right? So that you can get us enough, that's approved for enough to get us to December, right? And then either decide there to extend the contract maybe for a year with a budgeted figure, or if we can hire or whatever. But it seems like we are about halfway through the budget cycle, and we have no guarantee that this is going to last us another year.
Well, I guess I know, Mark, that you have all of these plans and you have all this laid out in regards to what projects that you're going to be doing. So is there any way to determine as to, yes, we're going to need an additional $85,000, or we can get through with the whatever 27, 29 whatever we have left of that 85 now? But it sounds like that you're utilizing that for one program already, and that it's going to take up the majority of that money. I mean, what's an additional $85,000 going to be, I guess, in regards to projects?
State's Attorney Dan Markwell clarified that the extra roughly $27,000 that is left on top of the additional $15,000 that was budgeted by the county, they could make it through with a supplemental agreement to get them to December.
Well, I mean, it sounds like the agreement was for up to $85,000, but you're budgeted up to $100,000. Mm-hmm. So if you get through that $85,000 and you think you can finish things out, you may be able to do it with that $15,000. You can do a supplemental agreement for an additional $15,000 to get you through the end of this fiscal year. and then start with the new agreement come December 1.
I think.
That might get you close.
I think that's how it should go. I think we need to get it closer to our budget year.
Right.
Plus, then I think we also need to kind of have in mind as to, yes, I think this program, whatever the next step is in your plan, you should know how much money approximately it's going to take to do that.
The board asked County Engineer Mark Mathon to come back with a rough estimate of the funds needed to get through the rest of the fiscal year and tabled the discussion until next month.
Yeah, so that.
Can we
No.
table this if we've got enough to get us through to next month, and then maybe do an addendum to get us to the end of the fiscal year? And then start off with a new contract or a new agreement for fiscal year 27.
But are we asking Mark to come back with also a list of projects for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
Are we gonna ask him that so he can bring the information back so we're not asking this again?
Right, that's fine.
The way it's set up is that I assign a task order and say, you know, I need this work done. And then the work goes incrementally, discussing it as it goes. So I don't necessarily know exactly what I'm going to say, hey, I need a hand, this is the next item that we need. I would struggle to come up with a specific this item that are gonna take 20, 10, and 4 hours apiece.
Can we at least get a figure though, and maybe what you expect over the next 4 months to get us to the end of the fiscal year?
Yeah.
And
Let's try that.
Yeah, and that's why it was set up with the not to exceed.
Also, during the road and bridge portion of the meeting, the board approved a motion to increase the local share of the total cost of the Revere Road project. Mathon noted this was due to the original number being based on an estimate that was too low. Severe storms and threats of tornadoes rolled through DeWitt County on Wednesday. DeWitt County Emergency Management Agency Coordinator Will Pavlik told the Hart Media Group that an earlier round of severe storms in the area paved the way for a second, stronger system to come through.
We were briefed, 3 or 4 days out in advance that this was going to be kind of a big storm system moving in. And actually, we had gotten some guidance that there was going to be 2 potential rounds. And so there was a system that kind of came in around the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock hour that, was projected to bring some heavier winds and stuff like that. Fortunately, we got off with really kind of just a lot of heavy rain with that system. And so it kind of, brought the atmosphere to a certain point to where, it kind of set up potential for some craziness with the second round. And then obviously that came in, around the 3, 4 o'clock hour, for the most part for us. And we were kind of the northern boundary for that warm front, essentially. And so everything kind of shifted south after that first wave came in. And so we were under a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. We did have a couple tornado warnings as well for the southern part of the county for the most part. And so, it was a very hectic day, eventful. We had, briefings pretty much at the top of the hour with national weather. And we're just trying to stay as informed as we could with the information that they were seeing from the system that was rolling through.
According to Pavlik, the systems consisted of discrete supercells that had the potential to cause EF3 tornadoes and winds of up to 90 miles per hour or more. He says the county was not impacted as badly as it could have been and faced only a handful of downed trees and power lines. Learn more about the DeWitt County Emergency Management Agency and find severe weather and emergency updates on their Facebook page. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Noah Atkinson here. As owner of Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs in Lincoln, I know small business is important to our communities. That's why I'm pleased to be the exclusive sponsor of the WHOW WEZC Lincoln Printers Business of the Month.
The Vault Community Center on Mr. Lincoln Square in Clinton is a nonprofit teen community center offering an environment for social, academic, and spiritual growth through opportunities and services. They'll receive a $200 gift certificate good at Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs for being our WHOW WEZC Lincoln Printers Business of the Month. Nominate a business you'd like featured by emailing us at WHOW@randyradio.com.
Congratulations to this local business for all they do for the community. And don't forget, for envelopes, wedding invitations, signs, banner wraps, and more, go to LincolnPrintersInc.com.
Paul Skowron here, CEO of Warner Hospital. Spring allergies acting up? At Warner Hospital and Health Services, we offer fast treatment to help you breathe easier and feel better fast. Quality care right here, right now. Click on our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. In a game heard on WHOW, Andrew Benintendi launched a pinch hit grand slam off Camilo Doval in the 8th inning Thursday night, and the Chicago White Sox ended a 9-game losing streak at Yankee Stadium with a 5-1 victory over New York.
It ends at 9. After dropping 9 straight games at Yankee Stadium dating back to 2023, the White Sox put an end to that skid in grand fashion.
They're back in the middle for 2. Benintendi with a fly ball out into right. It's a grand slam. And I got a story for you, partner.
A pinch hit grand slam by Andrew Benintendi to break a 1-1 tie in the top of the 8th to propel the Sox back into first place in the American League Central. Sox start a big division showdown Friday night in Detroit against the reigning back-to-back Cy Young Award winner, Tarek Skubal. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage starting at 5 p.m. on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
The Sox kick off a 3-game series with the Detroit Tigers tonight. Pre-game starts at 5 p.m. on WHOW. Bobby Witt Jr. hit the first of Kansas City's 3 home runs before leaving with a sore right knee, and the Kansas City Royals smacked a club record 5 doubles in a 6-run second inning Thursday night on the way to a 14-6 victory over the St. Louis Cardinals. Jack Caglione and Salvador Perez also went deep for the Royals, who set season highs for runs and hits with 17. Each of the first 8 batters in the starting lineup had at least 1 RBI. Witt homered in the first inning and delivered an RBI single in the second, but he was lifted for a pinch hitter in the 4th after making a sliding stop at shortstop in the top of the inning. The 2-time All-Star was shaken up on the play and got checked out on the field by an athletic trainer. Kansas City took a 7-2 lead in the second on the strength of 5 doubles, a team record for 1 inning. Carter Jensen, Isaac Collins, Lane Thomas, and Starling Marty each had an RBI double. Perez led off with a 2-bagger. Caglione hit a 2-run shot to left center in the 4th for his 9th homer this season. Nick Lofton doubled in 2 more runs. Perez added his 10th home run in the 6th. It was his 137th at Kauffman Stadium, most in the ballpark's history. Royal starter Noah Cameron is 4-4 and threw 108 pitches in 5 innings. He gave up 4 runs, 3 earned, and 8 hits. Matthew Liberatore is 3-4 and was charged with 7 runs, 5 earned, and 7 hits in 1 2/3 innings. Right-hander Seth Lugo is 2-4 with a 3.86 ERA and returns to the Royals' rotation Friday after spending the required 7 days on the concussion injured list. He was hit in the head by a line drive last week. Right-hander Michael McGreevy pitches for the Cardinals in the 2nd game of the series. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Toronto Blue Jays beat the Boston Red Sox 4-3, while the Cleveland Guardians beat the Milwaukee Brewers 4-2. The Minnesota Twins took down the Texas Rangers 9-3, while the Seattle Mariners shut out the Baltimore Orioles 3-0. The New York Mets beat the Philadelphia Phillies 6-4, and the Athletics shut out the Los Angeles Angels 5-0. The Illinois High School Association, or IHSA, Board of Directors met for its regularly scheduled meeting at the IHSA office in Bloomington on Monday, June 15th, where the board finalized expectations for the 35-second shot clock, which will be required for varsity boys and girls basketball contests beginning with the 2026-27 IHSA season. The board voted to accept the recommendation of the IHSA Basketball Advisory Committee by adding State Association Adoption 4, which reads a school may not host a varsity contest if a shot clock is not installed or is not properly mounted on the backboard in a primary gym in accordance with NFHS rules. The host school must secure an alternate facility or allow the opponent to host the contest. If the host school is unable to secure a gym with functioning shot clocks and the opposing school cannot host, the game shall be forfeited by the home team. The shot clock is optional for lower level games like junior varsity, sophomore, and freshman games. The board allowed for experimental use of the shot clock in 2022 and 2023 and the 2023-24 season, providing teams with the option to use it in tournaments and shootouts. In June of 2024, the IHSA board voted to implement a 35-second shot clock for all varsity games, beginning with the 2026-27 season, in order to provide schools with time to plan and install the devices. At the same meeting, the board made the shot clock an option for regular season games in the 24-25 and 25-26 seasons when mutually agreed upon by the competing teams. A statewide survey of high school coaches in Illinois conducted by the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association, or IBCA, in 2020 revealed that 75% of boys head coaches in the state supported the implementation of the shot clock, while 68% of the girls coaches who responded were in favor. The 41-year-old Tiago Splitter was formally introduced on Wednesday as the 25th coach in Bulls franchise history. He brings a wealth of experience that includes 7 years in the NBA as a player and a challenging season as the interim head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. The addition of Splitter is the team's most significant move since Bryson Graham took over as executive vice president of basketball operations on May 4th. The 6'11" Splitter emerged from a crowded field of candidates that reportedly included Minnesota Timberwolves assistant Micah Nori, Atlanta Hawks assistant Ryan Schmidt, and Wes Unseld Jr., who was on Chicago's coaching staff last season. While describing why Splitter was the choice, Graham praised the coach's competitiveness and his ability to connect with players. Splitter joined Chauncey Billups' staff in Portland last June. He was elevated from assistant to interim coach when Billups was arrested in October in a federal takedown of a sprawling gambling operation. Billups has pleaded not guilty to charges of wire fraud and money laundering. Splitter coached Portland to a 42-40 record and a 5-game loss to San Antonio in the first round of the playoffs. It was the first playoff appearance and the first time the Trailblazers finished with a winning record since 2020-2021. Splitter spent time with San Antonio, Atlanta, and Philadelphia during his playing career. He was selected by the Spurs in the first round of the 2007 draft, and he helped the team win an NBA title in 2014. He worked for Brooklyn for 5 seasons from 2018 to 2023 as a pro scout and then an assistant coach. He was an assistant for Houston for 1 year before coaching Paris Basketball Club to a French Cup championship during the 2024-25 season. Splitter is replacing Billy Donovan, who resigned after 6 seasons. The Bulls had conversations with Donovan about returning, but he decided to step aside rather than work with a new front office. Chicago allowed 121.5 points per game this season, ranking 28th overall in the NBA. It finished with a 31-51 record while missing the playoffs for the 4th straight year. The Bulls pick number 4 and number 15 in next week's draft, and they also have plenty of salary cap space going into free agency. Leading the U.S. Open as of Friday is Wyndham Clark, who is 6 under par. In second place is Dustin Johnson, Matt Fitzpatrick, Gary Wood, all 3 under par. And tied for 5th place, Sam Stevens, John Ram, Max McGreevy, Ben Coles. And tied for 9th is Ben Coles, Corey Connors, and Rory McIlroy, Max Geiserman, Benjamin James, Brian Harmon, and Ludwig Adberg. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
AgriTalk is the radio talk show for American agriculture. Hi, everybody. I'm Chip Flory, your host. We join you weekday mornings from 10 until 11 on WHOW, on AM and FM, and on the WHOW streams. We provide farmers and ranchers with timely insights and information aimed at improving their operations. Join me, Chip Flory, weekdays at 10:06 on Central Illinois Ag Station, WHOW.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Here are the contest rules for our stations. We allow one person per household to win any prize from the radio stations in a 30-day period, unless otherwise stated. All prizes are to be picked up within 2 weeks at the studios inside the Big Red Barn at 2980 U.S. Highway 51, 4 miles south of Clinton. Our office hours are 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. weekdays. Any cash prize is mailed within 30 days of winning. Only if cash winners call our business line within 2 weeks of their name being drawn to provide their mailing address. Employees and their families of regional radio are not eligible to participate or win any contest.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Vice President Vance, he's not going to Switzerland today after all. His mission to lead nuclear talks with Iran has been put on hold. The Israeli military campaign in southern Lebanon continued overnight. Israeli military saying it hit multiple Hezbollah targets in the wee hours of the morning. While some Republicans